Have you ever felt the need to prove your worth to someone who doesn't see it? Here's a truth that will change your perspective. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is simply let them miss out on you. It's not about revenge or bitterness. It's about embracing your value. In a world that constantly tells us to chase approval, letting someone miss out on you feels counterintuitive. But the wisdom of Stoicism teaches us otherwise. It's not about pride or arrogance. It's about self-respect and understanding that your value doesn't diminish when someone fails to see it. Today, we'll explore why letting people miss out on you can be one of the most empowering decisions you make, and how it aligns perfectly with Stoic philosophy. Stay with me. This could be a game changer for how you see yourself and others. Have you ever found yourself over-explaining, over-compromising, or even bending your boundaries to make someone stay in your life? It might be a friend, a partner, a family member, or even a colleague. You've invested time and energy, but no matter what you do, they seem to undervalue your presence or take you for granted. This leaves you questioning your worth, overthinking your interactions, and perhaps even blaming yourself for their lack of recognition. It's a draining cycle, isn't it? The constant effort to prove yourself can leave you feeling exhausted and, paradoxically, even more undervalued. Here's the truth. No amount of convincing can make someone see your value if they're not willing to. The Stoics faced this dilemma in their own way. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and philosopher, advised, "Don't waste the rest of your time here worrying about other people unless it affects the common good. It will keep you from doing anything useful." In other words, investing your energy in trying to control how others perceive you is a futile exercise. You're better off focusing on your own path, values, and growth. But letting people miss out on you isn't just about walking away. It's about understanding your intrinsic worth, detaching from external validation, and reclaiming your peace of mind. It's about recognizing that your value doesn't depend on someone else's recognition, a principle that aligns perfectly with Stoic philosophy. Reason 1. Your value doesn't decrease because someone fails to see. Tone of the core principles of Stoicism is recognizing what is within your control and what isn't. Epictetus, a former slave turned philosopher, taught that our opinions, desires, and actions are within our control, while the opinions and actions of others are not. If someone doesn't appreciate your worth, that's a reflection of their perspective, not your reality. Practical insight. Imagine a diamond sitting in the mud. Does the mud change the diamond's value? Of course not. Similarly, someone else's inability to see your value doesn't diminish it. The diamond doesn't shout to prove its worth, it simply is. Exercise. Write down 3 qualities that make you proud of who you are. Reflect on them daily. This practice helps anchor your self-worth in your own perception rather than someone else's. Reason 2. Detachment is liberating. Detaching from the need for approval doesn't mean you don't care about others. It means you care more about your peace and principles than chasing validation. The Stoics believed that attachment to external outcomes is a source of suffering. By letting go of this attachment, you free yourself from unnecessary emotional turmoil. Philosophical context. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Letting someone miss out on you isn't an act of indifference. It's an act of reclaiming your power and redirecting it toward what truly matters. Modern application. Think about a time when you tried too hard to gain someone's approval. How did it feel? Now, imagine letting go of that need. Picture yourself focusing instead on your own goals, values, and well-being. The weight lifts, doesn't it? Reason 3. Absence speaks louder than presence sometimes. The best way to make someone realize your worth is to let them experience life without you. It's not about manipulation. It's about creating space for clarity for them and for you. When you're constantly present, your value can be taken for granted. But in your absence, your worth becomes unmistakable. Example: think of a favorite song you listen to on repeat. After a while, you stop noticing its beauty. But when you didn't hear it for weeks, it felt fresh and valuable again. People work the same way. Sometimes they need to miss you to appreciate you fully. Exercise. If you feel taken for granted, take a step back. Use that time to focus on yourself. Invest in hobbies, relationships, or goals that uplift you. Notice how this shift not only benefits you, but also allows others to reflect on your value. Reason 4. Self-respect attracts respect. When you let people miss out on you, you're setting a boundary. You're saying, I value myself too much to stay where I'm not valued. This act of self-respect is powerful. It signals to others that you're not desperate for their approval, and paradoxically, this often earns their respect. Philosophical insight. Seneca, another Stoic philosopher, emphasized the importance of dignity and self-respect. He wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." Craving approval makes you dependent. Valuing yourself makes you independent. Practical advice: practice saying no to situations or people that undermine your self-worth. Each time you do, you reinforce your boundaries and strengthen your sense of self-respect. Reason 5. Focusing on your growth is the ultimate power move. When you stop chasing others and start focusing on your own growth, something incredible happens. You become the best version of yourself. This isn't about proving anyone wrong. And in doing so, you naturally attract people who value and respect you for who you are. Historical example: the Stoics often faced rejection and adversity, but they used these challenges as opportunities for growth. Epictetus, for instance, transformed his hardships into wisdom that continues to inspire millions. Modern application: instead of spending energy trying to change someone's perception of you, invest it in learning a new skill, pursuing a passion, or improving your well-being. Notice how this shift not only enhances your life, but also changes the way others perceive you. Reason 6. Silence can be more powerful than words. In a world full of noise and constant communication, choosing silence can be a profound statement. The Stoics valued silence and reflection as tools for wisdom. When you step back and stop explaining or justifying yourself, it forces others to confront their own behavior without your input. Philosophical context: Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, emphasized the power of action over word. Sometimes, letting your absence and silence speak for you creates a more lasting impact than any argument ever could. Practical application: the next time you feel compelled to defend your worth to someone, pause. Instead of speaking, focus on your actions and self-improvement. Watch how this quiet strength shifts the dynamic. Reason 7. The freedom to choose who deserves your energy. One of the greatest freedoms you have is the ability to choose where and with whom you invest your time and energy. Stoicism teaches that life is short and precious, so why waste it on people who don't value you? By letting people miss out on you, you create room for relationships that are mutual, uplifting, and respectful. Philosophical insight. Epictetus said, "The key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best." When you prioritize meaningful connections over shallow approvals, your life becomes richer and more fulfilling. Exercise. Take inventory of your relationships. Ask yourself, do they add value to your life, or do they drain you? Commit to investing more in the former and letting go of the latter. Here's the breakthrough. Letting people miss out on you isn't an act of bitterness, it's an act of self-love. It's a declaration that your value isn't up for negotiation. By embracing this mindset, you free yourself from the exhausting cycle of seeking approval and step into a space of empowerment and peace. Imagine the strength of walking away from situations that don't honor your worth, not out of spite, but out of self-respect. That's the power of Stoicism in action. It's not about proving yourself to anyone. It's about proving to yourself that you're enough. Recap. Letting people miss out on you is powerful because your value doesn't decrease because someone fails to see it. Detachment is liberating. Absence speaks louder than presence. Self-respect attracts respect. Focusing on your growth is the ultimate power move. Silence can be more powerful than words. The freedom to choose who deserves your energy. Remember, the goal isn't to make others regret missing out on you. The goal is to live so authentically and confidently that their recognition becomes irrelevant. This is the essence of Stoicism, finding peace and power within yourself, regardless of external circumstances. Take a step back, focus on your growth, and let your absence speak volume. Those who truly value you will recognize your worth, and those who don't, they were never meant to be part of your journey anyway. Subscribe for more Stoic insights to help you master your emotions and transform your mindset.